Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Neal, members of the committee. I'm very pleased to be here today to talk about the unemployment insurance program during the pandemic. The program helped millions of Americans in need, but there was widespread fraud that occurred. And I'd like to focus my opening remarks today on 3 reasons why I believe that happened. Number one, neither the Labor Department nor the states were prepared. In 2016, we worked with the Congress to pass the Fraud Reduction and Data Analytics Act. That was intended for federal agencies to be prepared to prevent fraud in the first place, which is the most effective way to deal with this issue. The Labor Department, like many federal agencies, were slow to implement these framework principles that GAO had outlined on best practices in the federal government. Therefore, they were not as prepared as they should have been before the pandemic. States had antiquated IT systems. Many of them had known this, some of them dating back decades. And also, right before the pandemic, the unemployment rate was very low. So the staffing levels of the state employment agencies were low. So they weren't as prepared either. We've made recommendations to the Labor Department. They haven't implemented those fully yet. They're beginning to work on them. But they need to fully implement our recommendations and be in accordance with the law. Secondly, the urgent need to get the money out led to trade-offs that limited the ability of the government and the states to achieve the accountability and transparency objectives of the legislation Congress intended. This was due to allowing people to self-certify their eligibility for programs, eliminate or reduce the need for them to provide supporting documentation for their claims of eligibility, reducing the waiting time that was normally in place at the states before they provided the first unemployment check. Now, Congress rectified these issues in December 2020 when they passed the Consolidated Appropriations Act and then required more documentation for eligibility determinations. The states started taking corrective measures, but this was too late. Hundreds of billions of dollars had already been spent, and while they're welcome and they need to be fully implemented, and congressional oversights needed to make sure this happens, they were not taken as early as possible into this reduce the susceptibility to fraud. You know, as a result of these trade-offs, self-certification in particular, these programs were more susceptible to fraud than they would have been otherwise during the program. Lastly, third, there was an improper payment problem before the pandemic occurred in the unemployment insurance program. The rates often were in double digits in terms of improper payments. These are payments that should not have been made or were made in the wrong amounts. And there was also fraud in the unemployment insurance program ahead of time as well. Both of these should have been harbingers to alert the Labor Department and the states that they needed to take stronger measures, particularly with the huge amount of claims that occurred during a period of time. As Ranking Member Neal mentioned, you know, millions of people became unemployed at the same time. This rarely has happened in our economy where so many people have applied for insurance and been out of jobs in almost every sector of the economy during this period of time. So more measures should have been taken. Now, we've made recommendations in many cases to have this underlying improper payment problem. And it doesn't happen just in the unemployment insurance program. It happens in Medicare, Medicaid, and 86 different programs across the federal government's activities. But it was there, it should have been dealt with. And if we can't deal at the federal government and the states level to reduce improper payments in normal times, then you're bound to have problems when there are emergencies. And there will be future emergencies. And so people need to get prepared. So I'd urge this committee to continue their oversight, to make sure the labor departments and the states take action on our recommendations so that we're much better prepared next time to deal with these emergency situations. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'd be happy to answer questions at the appropriate time.